Hello, I'm Dr. Lola Ashaye, and you're listening to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye. So last week, I spoke about how prediabetes and diabetes can, lead to people depending on medications, and that many people desire to limit their dependence on medications, but they also have difficulty with the consistent lifestyle changes, and so they're not able to do that. And also, some people also struggle with just understanding how lifestyle changes work. And sometimes that even backfires because they're doing things that are not working and that would not work. So if one truly desires a health transformation, it has to be intentional. And last week, I discussed 3 things that I believe are needed to result in transforming health. So if you've not already, please go ahead and listen to the last episode first so that these next steps are not just something that you are learning and not implementing, that these next steps are helpful. So today I'm going to discuss specific lifestyle changes that have been shown to lower blood sugar. And none of these things I'm going to talk about are new. I'm sure you've heard them before, but if you're not yet doing them, I think it's certainly worth repeating. And then the good news is that these are things that are simple and are free. So I hope you keep listening. So again, you're listening to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye. I'm Lola Ashaye. I'm a family medicine and lifestyle medicine doctor, medical doctor, and owner of InTouch Primary Care in Sugar Land. And here we help you more easily become and remain healthy because you have direct and easy access to the doctor. And also, we really work with business owners, international visitors, and for people that may have a high deductible plan or people that don't even have health insurance, we have services that are perfect for you. So check us out at intouchprimarycare.com. Okay, so how can one lower their blood sugar naturally? So some might think it's, this is too hard. I know what it takes and what is life if we can't just enjoy it. And so when we start talking about making healthy choices, some people start to shut down because they have that wall because, they don't want to make the sacrifice that it takes. But I think a big part of the reason many of us struggle with healthy choices is we spend so much time thinking and talking about the cost without focusing on the benefits. And a lot of time is because a lot of us will have to pay the price up front, right? We have to get over that hump. But the truth is, once you get over the hump of whatever, lifestyle change that you have to make, it gets a lot easier after that. But a lot of us focus so much on the hump that we don't, see a way to get over it. But one way I found to be effective to get over that hump, to kind of keep on being consistent with lifestyle changes, is to climb it one step at a time. So you don't have to run. You can just walk, you can crawl if you have to crawl, but just one small goal after the other will get you over the hump. So that's, someone that might start to feel overwhelmed at the mention of lifestyle changes. It doesn't have to be all at once. It took years to get where you are. It's going to take years to get back. So, one day at a time, as long as you're making improvement, that's what counts. So let's get into it. All right. So to lower blood sugar naturally, my first recommendation is actually hopefully, something easy to do, but can be challenging for many, is start with healthy sleep. So some of you may be surprised that we're not starting with, limiting limiting the sugars, limiting this, don't eat that. And that's because I've noticed that, when people do not get healthy sleep, it affects everything. So when you do get healthy sleep, sleep drives so many other behaviors. I think a lot more than we realize. When we're tired, we're much more cranky. And actually, research has shown that when we're tired, we make more unhealthy food choices. And this is not even something that we're necessarily trying to do. It's just because our hormones are not helping. We have hormones in our body that, tell us when we're hungry and tell us when we're full. And when we're hungry, our hormones are telling us to eat the most, something that will give us energy as quickly as possible. And many of those things are processed foods that will give you, that have a ton of sugar in it, so that we can, get what our body gets what it needs as quickly as possible. So sleep is really important because it helps us balance those hormones so that we can work with physiology, which makes it a lot easier to do what is needed. So what is healthy sleep? Healthy sleep is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep and waking up rested. So when we focus on really, turning off that TV earlier, maybe even closing that laptop and making sure that we're actually allowing our bodies to rest so that we can get adequate length of sleep and also quality of sleep, so that when we wake up, our hormones are balanced, we're much more likely to make healthier choices throughout the day. The other thing is, decreased quality of sleep leads to decreased insulin sensitivity. And that means that when you're not sleeping, your insulin doesn't work as well. And insulin is required to get the sugar into the cells. If the sugar doesn't get in the cells, it stays in the blood and the blood sugar is high. So that's why getting healthy sleep is really important to lower blood sugar. In addition, for those that are, maybe they have prediabetes or diabetes and it's related to weight gain, in order to lower weight, sleep is important. So healthy sleep will make it much easier to reduce weight, obviously, along with all the other things you have to do. But when you're giving your body the best opportunity by sleeping well and allowing it to repair itself and heal itself night after night, your body works more efficiently in helping you to shed extra weight. Okay, so before I go into the second tip, I want to thank all of those that have subscribed already. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Also, you're helping others learn this information, which can really improve their health. So if you've not already, there are 3 things you can always do: subscribe, share, and like, and that really makes a difference. It's a small action that can make a big difference for many people. So thank you again. Okay, so let me get into my second tip. So my second tip this week is physical activity. And I like to work on physical activity next because it's a little easier than working on nutrition for many people. And that's because it's easier to track. And some people may struggle with physical activity too, especially if they have joint pains or other conditions that make it more difficult. But I always encourage people to find something. Don't give up on physical activity if you have joint pains. Maybe aquatic therapy or aquatic physical activity, swimming or just exercise in water, maybe better or easier. Try to be creative. If you have trouble with back pain or lower back, maybe doing upper body stuff might be helpful. But just think about ways that you can still move, because physical activity has so many benefits. So in terms of lowering blood sugar, though, I mean, for those that may have tried maybe wearing a continuous glucose monitor, or those that just check their blood sugar before or after physical activity, you will see a difference immediately. And that can be very motivating, which is why I like to work on it next. Physical activity doesn't have to be elaborate. It just needs to be intentional. So I always say, just start where you are. You can start very slowly, 5-10 minutes a day. And I typically recommend doing short amounts daily rather than doing, a long time, and then it's really hard to be consistent with it because you don't have the time, or it's just, you're so sore that you can't go anymore. So especially when you're starting, I do tend to recommend just start out slow and do it consistently, and instead of trying to do too much at once. So consistent physical activity increases insulin sensitivity. So that again means that your insulin is working better and it's helping you get rid of the sugar, getting it into the cells where it's needed so that your blood sugar is lower. So obviously, if you're doing any of these things, you want to make sure you're working with a doctor to make sure that your blood sugar doesn't go too low, because low blood sugar can be dangerous. So make sure that you have your own personal doctor that you're working with who is helping you and making the exact recommendations for you so that you can do this safely. So, as I've mentioned earlier, you've probably heard these things before, but if you're not doing them yet, putting them into practice can make all the difference. So you can take a moment now, make a plan to track it. Maybe start with improving your sleep or your physical activity. Talk to your doctor. Make sure you're all on the same page and, take action, do something about it. And if you're in the Houston area and you have diabetes or any other condition, and you're looking for a doctor who is proactive about your health, a doctor who wants to work with you in lowering your dependence on medications, well, we're here for you at InTouch Primary Care. You can learn more about our services on our website, intouchprimarycare.com, or you can call us at 713-280-9985. Okay, so diabetes, as you know, is a serious condition and can lead to complications. But at the early stages, especially, it can be reversed. So you can start with simple things and do them, which is what really matters. But when you do these things, it can lead to really big results, preserving your organs, reducing your risk of many serious conditions. You feel better, you have more energy, you're more productive, and you enjoy your life. So these things are priceless. So I hope you take some time to consider them and speak with your doctor about implementing them. And I hope that helps. I'll see you next week.